Introducing the monster. She's been asleep for the winter, but now it's time to wake her up and get ready for our very first hot rod power tour. Although we actually woke her up about a month ago just to do some winter tinkering, it's now time to get serious as the power tour is only a few weeks away. To be honest, I was surprised at all the little things that required attention. After years of operation without major issues and overcoming range anxiety during many long trips, I think I had become just a little complacent and had not kept up with ongoing maintenance requirements. So I thought a good place to start would be with the to-do list that I generated to keep busy over the winter. As you can see here, we just didn't get to many items on the list as they just weren't mandatory. It looks like the only thing we really accomplished was getting a new car battery and having a garage heater installed so we'd have a nice warm place to work during the long Cleveland winter. So after what seemed like an eternity of just staring at the list on the wall, I decided to just skip it all together and go straight to a spring test drive. Our new junkyard dog, Bear, didn't want to go. He tried to warn me that we probably weren't ready for that, but because it was such a great sunny day outside, I just couldn't help myself. Bad move on my part. As we discovered after a tow truck ride to a friendly mechanic, we had lost spark to the distributor due to corroded and broken coil wires. So much for shortcuts. I knew it was time to eat a little crow, back up a step, and take a good long look at that list again. So back to that dreaded list posted on my garage wall that was supposed to have kept me busy during the winter. I decided to start with an easy task of verifying that our original spare was still functional and held air, and that it actually fit the car, as I had never carried a spare tire and had always relied on AAA as my backup. Although it is old, the tire has never been used and still held air, so I loaded it up. For years now, I've been a little cramped and uncomfortable sitting in the front bench seat as it was not capable of adjusting backwards more than a few inches. So I decided to finally purchase the seat extenders and add this to my winter projects list. But of course, we ran into little issues along the way. The inside bolt of the front track brackets were not easily accessible, as the extenders had to be attached to the floor in the old bolt locations. I had to use the jack in order to lift one side of the seat at a time. The bolts included in the package for the adjustment holes were just a little too short, and it was very hard to find the longer size. It's amazing how much more comfortable the seat is now with the ability to adjust backwards just a few inches more than before. It was now time to move ahead to the dreaded AC reprogramming task. After much searching under the panel and following the electrical schematics, I finally found the wire I needed buried behind the passenger side kick panel. Afterwards, I was extremely pleased that the reprogramming instructions resulted in the AC blasting cold air, as well as the heater actually working for the first time. Since I've always hated those carpeted kick panels, I figured this was the perfect time to kill two birds with one stone and replace them while I had everything torn apart. Apparently, once you open Pandora's box, things never stop falling out. So I limited my task to reprogramming the AC and applying a little touch-up spray to the vent grills and doors. I decided all the other things could wait for another day. As I am not very mechanically inclined, I don't usually carry a lot of tools or extra parts. There are, however, a few items and parts that I decided to stock for the trip. So I took the time to identify and itemize the locations of the items in my case, just in case I can provide some assistance to someone else on the trip. One good thing that resulted from our quick trip trials was feeling comfortable enough to satisfy a request to use the monster for high school graduation pictures and transportation to the prom for one very special couple. That experience was priceless. Well, I think we're almost ready and are pretty confident that all the unanticipated problems identified from our test drives have been taken care of. We've purchased our tour tickets, reserved and booked hotels, ordered new merch for comfort, and are anxious to distribute handouts for the kids along the route. So we may not have put a big dent in our original winter to-do list, but all things considered, we were able to shake out a few major issues and get the Munster up and ready to go. Is she ready?